Welcome to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I'm your host, Sade Curry, and I believe every divorced woman deserves a romantic relationship where she feels safe, loved, and cherished. You can create the most amazing life after divorce, and I will teach you how. Hi friends, welcome back to the Dating After Divorce podcast. So in the prior episode, I talked about how to start life over after divorce and also how to move on even if you don't have closure. And those two episodes came first to lay the ground for how to start living your best life after divorce, how to dream again, which is what I want to talk about in this episode. And if you find that you haven't really made as much progress after your divorce as you would like, maybe you still haven't moved into the career that you want, or you haven't started like writing your book or starting the business that you want or finding that new relationship that you want, your brain might still be stuck in some things in the past. And that's what the episode on closure was about really releasing kind of like these open loops. So I'm not going to use all the right scientific words here, but there was a study that was done with two sets of people given really simple tasks like adding numbers or moving like little objects around into little patterns, something that anybody could accomplish. However, one group of people were not permitted to finish their tasks. So they were hurried along and not permitted to finish each task. And what they noticed was that group was their performance with these very simple tasks diminished the more tasks that were left undone. And then the group that was permitted to finish each task performed better and better. So when you are wanting to move on after divorce, when you're wanting to really create this amazing life and achieve new things and maybe travel, whatever it is that you have, it can be hard to do that if there are tasks undone, like wanting closure. So that's kind of why we dealt with that earlier. Some other challenges that you might be facing with moving on, starting over, getting that new relationship, whatever it is, it all has to do with how your brain is working, whether your brain has been set up to help you or whether your brain is working against you, because it's sort of like the food that you put into your body. What you eat determines whether your body is assisting you in the tasks that you are performing every day, or if it's working against you because you fed it a whole bunch of junk food and now it's like, I can't do this thing that you want to do. I can't climb this mountain or whatever it is. The brain is sort of the same way. I'll give you a few examples. If you experienced a lot of abuse or you had to walk on eggshells, if your ex was the type who would rage, or if there were like some really dangerous situations that happened in your marriage, your brain could potentially be stuck in hypervigilance. Like you might be very anxious, just stuck in that survival mode. And in cases like that, you might need, trauma coaching, or you might need therapy. It just really depends on what is going on with you. Your brain might be working overtime to keep you safe, even though you're now divorced and you are now safe. So things like that are open loops that prevent your brain from giving you all of its energy into your goals and into the things you want to achieve. You might be worried about your future, and so your brain is consumed with worrying about your kids, worrying about your future, worrying about your finances. And it's running that program of worry, and you're not able to take those mental resources and put them towards building a future. You might be full of regret. You might have a lot of pain. You might have a lot of shame. All of these things are just like potential situations that you're facing. It is very different on a case-by-case basis. So, if you have one of these going on, I encourage you to like book a consult call with me so that, I can sort of help point you in the right direction of what you need to do to really start creating your best life after divorce. Like, what are some of the things that might be holding you back as a person? It's really hard to give a blanket blanket recommendation on the podcast because I don't know what's going on with you specifically, but I'm more than happy to talk with you on it on a consult call and see if we are a fit to work together on it. All right. So I want to teach you today a very simple tool that I give my clients when they're getting started, working, rebuilding after divorce, when they're getting started dreaming again. There's one little tool, one little exercise that has so much of an amazing impact, and that is for them to write 100 goals. So the first step to doing this assumes that you've worked through a lot of things ahead of time. Like I said, you can always contact me. We can talk about that. The first step is to decide to take 100% responsibility for your future. That can be scary, right? Up until this point, you had someone else, your ex, no matter how not great he was, right? You at least had another human somewhere in the picture contributing something, even if it was only his presence, right? For some of you, he might have been contributing finances, whatever it was, he was contributing something to the equation, right? And now you are on your own and having to take 100% responsibility for building the future that you want. That can be scary, right? Like, it doesn't matter how confident you are or how powerful you are, how successful you are. Really taking ownership for 100% of the life you want to live is not an easy step. And so I don't want to minimize really that moment where you take that responsibility, that moment when you say, oh, it's up to me. This is just up to me. There's nobody else here. That moment came for me when we first went to court and my ex was like pulling out all the stops to get everything. Like, it was just super weird. And it was impacting the kids. It really wasn't great. And I remember talking to my attorney, and she was just like older lady, no nonsense. She had seen it all. She had been through it all too. And I was like, I just don't want my kids to go through this. And I was just kind of like really feeling sorry. And she's like, listen, your kids are going through it. So now what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, okay. Right? And that was the best thing she could have told me was like, listen, this is happening. You need to put your big girl pants on and you need to deal with it. And that helped me so much. And I really took that to heart, and I decided to take 100% responsibility for my part, for whatever I could do to build the future that I wanted for myself and my kids. And it served me so well. It was scary though. I will tell you it was scary, but it was the best thing, best attitude I could have put on. So I want to offer that to you, right? That you must take 100% responsibility for your future. You need this to be able to be successful in recovering and healing and rebuilding. You need this to be able to be successful in dating again. When you are dating, you are 100% responsible for how you show up in the dating arena. The men on the dating apps are not responsible for the results you get on the dating apps. You are, but that's for another podcast episode, right? It's 100% up to you to make it happen if you want to get married again, to learn the skills, to master dating, to develop the confidence to show up and put yourself out there, to learn the skills of creating connection, to become a good judge of character, to learn the time management to incorporate dating into your life, to overcome procrastination. All of that is up to you. However, I'm here to help you. If you ever want help, I am here. But that doesn't take away the fact that it is 100% your responsibility. So when you want to start living your best life after divorce, you want to start setting goals and achieving them, the first thing is to don that attitude of 100% responsibility. Like, this is up to me. I got this. The second step, this is the activity that I offer, is to write 100 goals. I learned this from a book by Jack Canfield, and I believe it was called The Aladdin Factor. And it was really about just asking for what you want in life. And one of the exercises he had in there was to write 100 goals. Just write 100 things that you want in life. And I did this and loved it so much. I also had my kids do it. And it's really simple. You just grab a sheet of paper and you start writing. I want a cat. I want a dog. I want to have a makeover. I want to go to Paris. I want to write a book. I want to have a gigantic flat screen TV, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter. Big, small, tiny, write 100 things you want in your life. And the way that this helps you in setting your goals is that it expands your capacity to dream. When I did this, I was surprised at how little I had been dreaming, because when you get right around item number 30, you're like, I don't have any more. I can't think of any more. You're like, wait, I have this whole life. There's this whole planet. There's this whole world. There's so many things to do. Is 30 things all that I can come up with? And the reason you're going to get to that point, it might be 50 for you, it might be 30. Somewhere in there is where I see my clients like starting to struggle with coming up with things. That point where you start to struggle to come up with things to put on your list, that is the sign that your brain is stretching and growing. So make sure you don't stop. Make sure you keep going. It might take you a couple of days, but make sure you finish that list. Put some easy things on it, put some hard things on it, whatever. What is happening here is that you are stretching and exercising the muscle of your imagination. And imagination is so huge when you're creating something new, which is what you're doing. You've been divorced, you're creating a whole new life, and you need to be able to imagine this new life because you haven't lived it before. So you've got to be able to imagine it. You've got to be able to see it in your mind's eye in order to begin to take steps to create it. So when it starts to get hard, go ahead and keep going. Don't spend any time at all thinking about whether the things on the list are possible, whether you can achieve them. That's not what this is about. This is just about imagination. It's just about taking that first step to creating a whole new life. And what's interesting is, in the 6 years since my divorce, I have been really tickled to go back to that list and see, oh, I achieved that. Like, oh, look, I already did this. This happened and this happened. And it's amazing how, without going back to the list every day and trying to work at it, some things on the list are just starting to happen because doing that exercise has propelled my brain into moving forward, into seeing opportunities in the world and taking advantage of those opportunities. So write small things, write big, luxurious dreams and desires that you have. It really doesn't matter what you write, as long as it's something that you want, and something that you give yourself permission to say that you want. So this is another thing I see with my clients where they get stuck, is that they feel like they don't have permission to ask for things. They are still stuck in survival mode. This exercise will help you come out of survival mode, because when you've been in survival mode after divorce, when you've been in a marriage that put you on edge for years and years and years, your nervous system has been trained to stay in that mode. So you might be fully divorced, moving on, you've got a great job, your kids are doing well, but in your body, you're still stuck in feeling anxious and feeling like something can go wrong at any moment. This is all a process to help you move out of that survival mode, because you're safe. Now everything's fine. So it can be scary, but it will help you start visualizing that bright future that you want. So that was step 2. Step 3 is to pick one item and do it. It might take you 2, 3, 4 weeks or a month or 2 months to achieve that one item. But pick something small and easy and do it. I have a client who, we did this exercise, and one of the things she wrote on there was she wanted to visit this, like, I don't know if it was like a roller park or a tunnel or something that's in her city. And she said, for years and years and years, I just said, I'm going to visit this. Oh, I need to go visit this park that they put in our city, or some really free attraction that was there. And I forget exactly what it was. And I think about a month after we started on this exercise, she went and she just said, oh, I was driving by and I said, you know what? I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop my car right now and get off the highway and go see it. And she did that. And she was so proud of herself, and it made her feel so good. It was something small, something easy, but it really does something amazing for your brain to know that you can say, I'm going to do this, and to go ahead and do it. So pick something from your list that is small and easy to accomplish and go and do it. One of the things that was on my list of 100 things was to join an exclusive mastermind. At that time, I was working with a coach who was helping me start my business, and she was like always going to these masterminds and, traveling. It was fun. I was like, I want to do that. I want to join an exclusive mastermind one day. And I didn't even look back at that or try to say, I'm going to pursue this goal. I didn't create 10 steps to getting it, but I do want to let you know that I am part of an exclusive mastermind now. When I wrote my 100 goals back in 2016, I think, hadn't even heard of the mastermind I belong to right now. I hadn't even heard about it. I had no idea that my coach existed in the world and she was going to help me run my business. And now I'm a part of this mastermind. I have been in it for a year now. And in August, we are going to Mexico for our live event. And so this is what it does to your brain when you write these goals down. It's sort of your brain subconsciously goes to work for you to see the opportunities to achieve the things that you want. You don't even have to work at it. You don't have to say, okay, now I'm going to make all this effort to do this. All I did was write it down. And then I went about my business working. I was working full time at the time. And then when the time came, I was like, I really want to help more women. I want to become a life coach. And I became a life coach. And in the process of becoming a life coach, I met my now business coach. And it just sort of organically happened. But I firmly believe that it happened because I started with this on my list of goals. So I want you to do this exercise and I want you to write to me and tell me all about it. You can find me on Instagram at Sade Curry, or you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Sade Curry Life Coach, I believe. Just search for Sade Curry. You'll find me there. Just book a call with me and tell me how this exercise went for you. It is so simple, but it might be the most profound, life-changing thing you can do to get started rebuilding after divorce. Oh yeah, guess what else was on my list of 100 things? Getting married again. It was on the list, and here we are. All right, ladies, I hope you will do this exercise. I hope you will jumpstart your growth and transformation after divorce. I hope you will reach out to me for a consult to see if there is a fit with us working together. And also, please leave a review and a rating of this podcast if you are enjoying it. Thank you for your time and attention, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening today. If you are ready to get married after divorce, I want to invite you to download my free 8-video training specifically designed to help divorced women date with ease and get married again. Head over to sadecurry.com to get started. That's SADECURRY.com. I'll see you inside.